So my plan with this video is to give you guys a roundup of some of the best deals on Amazon for Apple products specifically, because we all know that there's an Apple tax whenever you go into the Apple store and buy something with an Apple logo. Things tend to be a little bit more expensive, especially compared to their counterpart on the Windows side. So Amazon, for some reason, some way, somehow, most of Apple's products, aside from iPhones and the Apple TV, are always discounted anywhere from 5 to 25, 30%. So these are the best deals from January and going into February of 2025, and I plan on doing this maybe once a month, depending on whether or not you guys actually want to get information like this. So without further ado, let's talk about the best Apple deals on Amazon right now, and I'll link everything down below in the order that I mention it. Let's get into it. So let's start up with my favorite one, and that's going to be the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Now this specific one, the one that's for $679, which is $120 off the normal retail price, is going to be for the natural titanium colorway, so do keep that in mind, but it is a brand new Ultra 2 for $679. If you do want to get the satin black version, which is one that I have, it still is on sale, not quite as much, but I believe it's $739. Those are the two deals for the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Again, my favorite and probably my most used Apple product of all time has to be the Apple Watch. I sleep with it, I run with it, I wear it throughout the entire day. I get about a day and a half of battery life with the Ultra 2 when I'm not in low power mode, and a lot more when I am in low power mode, and I just absolutely love it because it just kind of gives me an idea of where I am from a health standpoint. And I'll leave a link down below to my video reviewing the Apple Watch Ultra 2 because it still holds true even almost a year later now at this point, so definitely check those out if you are in the market for an Apple Watch Ultra. Now the next category is going to be for laptops, more specifically the MacBook Air lineup, and it's a little bit interesting the way that the MacBook Airs are currently lined up, both on the Apple side and on the Amazon side, because of course the MacBook Air, the current new one that's out, is going to be the M3 MacBook Air, but they're still selling the M2 MacBook Air for a cheaper price point, both on Apple and Amazon. But another cherry on top is that Apple removed all the 8GB models from their lineup, and Amazon is also doing the same, meaning that the baseline version of the M2 and the M3 MacBook Air now comes standard with 16 gigs of RAM, which is absolutely amazing. I remember back in 2022, I believe, I got the M2 MacBook Air and I only spec'd up the RAM from 8 to 16 gigs, and that cost me $1,400. Now that same exact laptop in the midnight blue or any other colorway is going to cost you $799 brand new. So for $800 you can get an M2 MacBook Air brand new with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. That laptop will last you for years to come, at least 5, probably 6 to 8 years at that point. So if you are looking for an email machine, a Slack machine, something you can use as a desk setup machine but also take it on the go, has everything that you would need, $800 is hard to beat. But also, if you do want the M3 version, they still have the M3 version on Amazon, and it does state that it's $1,000, which is $100 off the retail price, but there is a coupon currently on there, so as long as you check that off, it will be a $900 machine. So for $900, you can get the M3 version, or for $800, you can get the M2 version. I personally would save the extra $100 and go with the M2 version because they are relatively similar in my opinion. There isn't too much more that you get from the M3 versus the M2. And both of these are Apple Intelligence ready if that is something that's important to you. So definitely check those out if you want to give those a go. But if you want an M4 machine in the laptop form factor, the current M4 MacBook Pro that does come with 16 gigs of RAM standard as well as 512 gigs of storage is on sale for $1,399. Normally they're $1,600 directly from Apple, so do take that into account. So if you want the M4 machine and you want the MacBook Pro form factor as well as a larger display with the 14.2 inches and the better display with the mini LED, for $1,400, you know who you are if you need a MacBook Pro, but for $1,400, I think that's a great deal, saving you at least $200 compared to what Apple gives you. So now let's quickly get into the iPad category. Right now, you can get the iPad 10th generation. It just hit its 30-day low overall in terms of price point. You can get it for $299, which I think is absurd because you still get the futuristic form factor and design language where there's no home button. You do have that industrial design that came into fruition in 2018 with the iPad Pro. Yes, you are dealing with Touch ID versus Face ID, but that's totally fine for $299. And one thing to note is that this is rocking the A14 chip, meaning you do not get any Apple Intelligence features. But again, for $299 for a device that looks like it could be even $1,000, you have an abundance of different color options as well. It's a little bit more playful. It has USB-C Apple Pencil support as well as Apple Pencil Gen 1 support, which again, I would not get that Apple Pencil if you can avoid it, but it does support that if you do have one laying around. And they have a first-party folio keyboard case, which is great to see as well, albeit a little bit expensive. But rest assured, if you do need a keyboard solution direct from Apple, you'll be able to get one with the folio case alongside that 10th generation iPad. Now, yes, it is only 64 gigs of onboard storage for this iPad because it is a little bit older, but still, for the form factor, if you need a throw-around family tablet, something just to consume content online, something to play games for your kids or something like that, I think it's a no-brainer. And then if you are looking for a machine that does have Apple Intelligence, the cheapest current entry point is actually going to be the iPad Mini 7 at $399 directly from Amazon. On Apple, the same exact one is $499. Again, leave a comment down below if you know why Amazon is able to discount these so much, or what the situation is, or what the partnership is. It always makes me curious as to how these are like 20% cheaper overall just because you're ordering online from Amazon versus going to the Apple Store. But I have reviewed the iPad Mini 7, I'll leave that link down below if you guys do want to check it out. Overall, I think it's a great device in a silo. There are some other things that I would probably pick first, but if you do need that form factor, that size, that portability in an iPad, this is the only way to go. For an 8.3-inch display, rocking the A17 Pro chip, which is the same one that's in the iPhone 15 Pro Max and 15 Pro, and it is Apple Intelligence ready like I mentioned, and you can already take advantage of some of those features. So for $400, that is going to be the cheapest entry point to being able to use Apple Intelligence. And then to round things off from an accessory standpoint, I do want to bring up that the AirTag 4-pack is only $69 right now, so this does break down to about $17.50 I think per AirTag, which is far cheaper than the normal $30 retail price. So if you need some AirTags to throw in your luggage and your backpack, for $70 or $69, you can get a 4-pack now of AirTags. And then secondly, when it comes to cables actually, just the standard charging cables from Apple, the woven ones, so at least you know they're high quality. They're all about 15 to 20% off for their USB-C to USB-C cables, as well as their USB-C to even Lightning cables, if you still have an iPhone or any other device that has a Lightning cable or Lightning input that you do need to charge. And they're anywhere from 1 meter to 3 meters, and like I said, 15 to 20% off of those fine woven or those woven cables that people really do enjoy and really like. So I do plan on doing this series probably once a month just to kind of highlight some of the cheaper options or some of the savings that you can get from Apple product standpoint on Amazon. Like I said, they always have some great deals on Amazon overall, so definitely be on the lookout for some other things dropping. Like I didn't recommend the AirPods Pro right now because they are $199. Even though they are $50 cheaper than you would get them at the Apple Store, I've seen them for as low as $160, even $150 during those holiday seasons or Amazon Prime days. So I would always check at least maybe once a week to see what's going on Amazon's website from an Apple product perspective, because you might be surprised and you might have an opportunity to jump on something that you didn't think you were in the market for. But that'll do it for this video, everybody. Let me know what you think about this. Is it something worth doing, something worth sharing? If I can just help out one person get into the Apple ecosystem a little bit cheaper, I know I'm doing my job. But that'll do it, everybody. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you want to watch more videos like this one, definitely check out this video right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everybody.